Hello and welcome to this video where I will be making a dip pen sketch of a vampire cowboy, I guess. The idea for this sketch was to use two separate reference images and combine them to make something original, something new. So I would say I first got a dip pen, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it would have been when I was about 17, 18. And I did a postal course. You probably don't get stuff like this anymore, but I did a postal course in cartooning. It was a diploma in cartooning, and it was advertised in the back of the newspaper. And it was run by a guy called Ray. I have no idea what he looked like. I never saw him. This was in the days before the internet was even a thing. So, I mean, it existed, but it was in its infancy. So I would sent off for the course, and then he would send me modules back, and then he would give me like feedback and stuff, and then I would draw cartoons on the paper and send them back off again. And it was really fun. But I think probably dip pens were mentioned in that because I think that they're quite popular with, or at least they were then. I don't know, probably most of it's digital now, but they were popular with cartoonists. And part of that might be because of how expressive the line work can be when you're using a nib pen like this. It just has a different quality, it's more organic, it's more lively, and it just has such an expressive kind of dynamic feel to it, the lines that it makes, that I think that you can't really replicate it. And I have tried doing it on the iPad and using other pens to make these kind of lines, and nothing really ever is quite the same as using a real nib pen. So yeah, I'm really enjoying using them. I haven't used them for a while. This particular one was gifted to me last year for my birthday, and I love it. It's got a glass handle, really fancy nib. I don't know what kind of nib it is, but it looks fancy, and it's really nice. And normally I'd just use a G nib. Those seem to be pretty suitable for all applications really. But yeah, this nib, I don't know what it is, but it's pretty cool. Okay, this is a Chinese calligraphy brush. I have two of these brushes. This is the smaller of the two, and they are the only ones that I use to paint with watercolour. I'm not using watercolour here, this is just a wet brush. Because the ink isn't completely dry, I'm still able to kind of move it around a little bit and get that sort of watercolour-y effect. If it was the sort of slower drying one, then I would have to wait forever to be able to do this, because it would just go everywhere. It would all just be a big black mess, a big blob. So yeah, I like to wait till it's almost dry, but there's just a few areas where I can sort of pick up a little bit of the ink and dilute it and spread it around to get this kind of effect for the shading. And yeah, these brushes are amazing because you can get such a variety of line thicknesses with them. You can use the very tip and it's very, very fine, or you can kind of, you know, push down into the meat of the brush and get a really nice wash effect. So I have 2 brushes for all watercolour and watercolour type mediums. These ones are also well, I mean, they say that they're not animal hair. I hope that they're not. I tried to find ones that were not, because God knows what poor animal that would have come out of if it was real, and what's happened to it. So yeah, these are like the vegan ones. Not that you have to eat them. Yeah, so there's obviously a bit of an issue here with me not lining up the paper quite right with the camera, so it's cut off at the top. I had a problem with when I'm filming with the back camera. Once I put the phone, you're filming with my phone, and once I put the phone into the overhead holder, I can't actually see the screen. So I'm kind of guessing a little bit, and obviously didn't guess quite right this time. So yeah, professional. Okay, so here I've gone on to I've decided to put some colour on it, but this is later on in the day and now the lighting isn't as good, so sorry about that. But I'm using the Stuart Semple watercolours, which I don't mind them, they're okay, but yeah, they're not the best that I've ever used. But I decided that I don't know, like he just kind of needed something else, and I wanted to see what a little bit of colour would do for the overall feel of it. In terms of the coloration, I did quite like the colour that I mixed for the jacket and the hat. I wanted something that was kind of a khaki, dirty, browny grey, something that kind of evoked the old Western films for me and the clothes that they wore. So I mixed a bit of, it's a burnt umber with some blue to get this colour. At least I think that it's burnt, I'm sure it's burnt umber, but all of the names of the paints in this pan are not the typical names that you'd expect. They're not the real pigment names, because the company that makes them, Stuart Semple, have given them all like ridiculous names, because I guess because it's like a hipster company and it's not cool to just call it burnt umber, so it's like, I don't even know, I'm not going to say I don't know what it is, because I've actually thrown the box away. But anyway, it's a burnt umber and some sort of slightly greeny blue, like a Ceylon blue, if that's what you call it, that I mixed to get this colour. I guess at this point I should probably ask you to subscribe or something, but it feels a little bit, I mean, I've got one video and it's my first ever attempt at making a YouTube video, so I can understand that you might not be inspired to subscribe yet, but I don't know, maybe you can be like, if this channel takes off in the future, then you can be one of the people that can say, I was there at the I've been following you since the beginning when you drew that vampire horse cowboy Iggy dude, and I'm still following you, and I can say, amazing, amazing. I'll give all of my followers who were here from the beginning, I'll give you a free print and I'll send it to you in the post, and then you can take it to the framers, and then maybe when you're at the framers, you'll see somebody else with the same print, and you'll say to them, oh my god, you've been there too from the beginning of the channel, and they'll be like, yeah, and then you'll fall in love, and maybe you'll buy a Winnebago and you'll ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after, you know. So you should subscribe, because it could happen. It could happen. Okay, so thank you for watching if you've made it this far, and I will be posting more videos which I'll hopefully get better at doing with a bit of practice. I should say I'm using very, very, very old, obsolete iMovie to make this video, so I don't know if anyone can help me, because I don't know if anyone else on the planet still uses this software. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.